Another thing that's happening in the world of sports, and this is interesting because I heard people yelling about it on the NBA channel on my way in. I have yet to hear this cut, but I want to hear it because Zion is a hot topic. So over to Zion real quick. Apparently he is having struggles with his diet. And like, yeah, I know a lot of people have fun with it on the timeline. There's jackals everywhere, and that's fine. But let's just be real about it. This dude was paid a ton of money. Like, I get it, man. People deal with mental health. I think we saw Ben Simmons, um, although I know he was probably had some demons going on the inside, but there was just too much of the mental health play, and it looked terrible. Looked terrible on him, and it still does. We'll never forget that. The faking of the mental health to a point. So I want to be cautious with this, but Zion, again, man, you were drafted number 1 overall. This is the life you chose. So I want to be, I don't want to come off as careless if the man is struggling. But dude, come on. Number 1 overall pick, boatloads of money. You're talking about just changing your kids' future. And New Orleans is asking for the bare minimum. Again, I would love to be on the conversations on the inside. Who knows what's true and what's not? He said he wanted to come back and play. Remember, he was out there dunking. I'm sure they loved that, and he didn't play at the end of the season last year. I love Zion. I love Zion as a player. But some of the things that are being said right now about him, they're frustrating because they're true. Anyway, Zion Williamson on the struggle with dieting. Let's have a listen.
Is it hard to diet at your age?
Sheesh.
Be honest.
Since it's you, I'll be real. There are times when I will say that, man, that shit hard. It's hard, man. Like, you 20, 22, got a lot of money. It feel like all the money in the world, man. It is hard, but I'm at that point now where because of certain things, I'm putting back like the wisdom around me, bunch of like I don't want to say older because they take offense to it. But, and I'm just putting people around me with wisdom, put me on game to certain things, and just go from there.
All right. Well, I believe that was on. I want to get that podcast right. It was at the Up in Smoke podcast. And look, that didn't sound all that bad. Like I said, I didn't hear it, but dude, come on, man. Oh, I was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Is it hard to diet at your age? Come on, man. Like the money is a big deal. That's what's hard because you can't diet because you got the money. What, you eating the best? You eating lobster every night, steak every night? I don't know, man. If I had like a percent, if I was in that world, personal trainer, chef, if I was Zion Williamson and what's being said and the fact that I can't get out in the court, and one of the big reasons is the fact that I'm 20 pounds overweight or whatever it may be, like I said, dietitian, chef, trainer. I'd even have a hype man following me around if that's what it took. The amount of money that this dude is getting paid, nobody wants the excuses right now, man. And if Zion bounces back and comes through, like I saw somebody yesterday talking about how he's a top 10 player, you bet your ass he is. That's not even a question. Top 10. If you get A+ work from Zion, which we haven't seen, but there were moments, and he had a good season, right? Not this past season, but he's had a good season in his career so far where he could fill it up from outside like a damn good basketball player, plus putting the athleticism to the side, bringing that into the mix. This is absolutely a top 10 basketball player and could very well be a top 5 player, but I wouldn't bet that. Would not bet that at all. To be honest with you, I'd probably bet against him being back next year like that just because of what we know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. A lot has to do with the fact of where he went up number 1 overall pick. I remember doing shows when people were like, I would take John Moran over Zion. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You just couldn't. You wouldn't be allowed to. Your owner would have fired you on the spot if you were the general manager of the team. And I love Ja too. Ja's a great basketball player, but damn, he's got his issues as well. Anyway, Zion Williamson needs to work on his diet, get back on the court, because ultimately that dude is one of the best basketball players in the game. And that's all we want to do is be entertained. And there's nothing better than watching a Zion dunk in the NBA. Does anybody throw it down harder than him? Better than him? Maybe Ja. And that's it. The only reason why I would say Ja is because of, the size of it.